Welcome back to the best anime recap channel on YouTube. Today I am going to explain an action mystery anime called Darwin's Game. The anime opens with a boy named Hamada attempting to flee from an invisible person. He tries his hardest to run, but ends up getting cornered and eliminated. The story jumps to a high school student named Kaname and his two friends, Youth and Chiito. He receives a message from Hamada, who we just all pass away. The message was an invitation for him to join a mysterious online game called Darwin's Game. After some thinking, Kaname accepts to participate in the game, thinking it would be a harmless children's game. As Kaname clicks the game to open it, he starts seeing strange things happening. He experiences a hallucination of himself being bitten by a snake, and he passes out. When Kaname wakes up, he is in the school's hospital and thinks everything that happened was a dream, because he is not feeling well. The nurse gives him permission to go home. On his way home, he opens the game again and realizes a player named Bandakung has challenged him to a death match. As Kaname looks up, he realizes the person who challenged him is right in front of him. He manages to run away and find his friend Chiito, who explains that Darwin's Game is a cruel, real-life survival game that puts players against one another. In addition, the game grants each of its players a unique superhuman power. We now learn that Bandakung's ability is the power to turn invisible. Bandakung now catches up with Kaname, and right before Bandakung can eliminate Kaname, a car runs into him while he is invisible, and this ends the match. Bandakung's body is then teleported bit by bit, leaving only a pixelated body carving on the floor. With the battle over, Kaname realizes his friend Chiito had passed away from blood loss because Bandakung stabbed him before getting hit by the car. We see a final message Chiito left, which tells Kaname to survive. Because Kaname was able to win his first match, he draws the attention of a high-ranking player in this sick game. One of the high-ranking players is Shoyuka Karino. Shoyuka invites Kaname to a warehouse to teach him about the game and how it works. While talking, Shoyuka realizes Kaname does not know how to use his special power, and the app does not have any information about his power. Shoyuka then attacks him using her chains. In the heat of the battle, Kaname manages to unlock his special power, which is the ability to recreate weapons he has previously touched. He sets a trap for Shoyuka and defeats her. Realizing that Kaname truly knows nothing about the game, Shoyuka surrenders, so both players stay alive. The two then spend the night at Shoyuka's mansion. The next morning, Shoyuka wakes up naked next to Kaname and says she wants to start a family with him. She then explains that a family is just a group of players who battle and earn points together. I had a different idea about what she meant, but let's go with her idea. She then explains to Kaname that joining is a safe option because you would get protection from the people in your group, which will make it harder for others to eliminate you. She then explains that Darwin's Game is so dangerous because the people playing it get money every time they eliminate another player. She also tells him that it is forbidden to reveal details about the game to any non-player, or else they will be teleported and forced to play the game. Also, Kaname receives a notification for Darwin's Game's first major event, which is a treasure hunt event in a city called Shibuya. On their way to Shibuya, Kaname runs into a mysterious player known as Inuke. Inuke warns Kaname to protect his cell phone no matter what. Kaname is confused by this, but the event begins, and they are all teleported to a hotel where the event is being hosted. The event instructions say that each of the 300 players must collect at least 3 rings before time is up, or they will pass away. Because there are only 300 people in the game and each player has 1 ring, 200 people will be eliminated at the end of the event. Kaname gets teleported to the 27th floor of the hotel building, where he meets Rain Kashiwagi, a middle school student known as the analyst. She is called the analyst because her ability allows her to get information about other players and sell it. This information also includes anyone's location. Suddenly, Kaname is informed that a player named Wang, who is the leader of a dangerous group called the Eighth, is also participating in the game. By the time he leaves his hotel room, almost 10 players have been eliminated already, and all the floors below floor 25 have been blocked by thick plants. Rain warns Kaname against taking the elevator, and her prediction proves to be true when 4 other players try to use the elevator and get eliminated by the plants. Rain guesses that the one behind all this is a player known as the florist, who possesses the ability to manipulate plants. Kaname also realizes that he is using the hotel's security cameras to direct his soldiers. They destroy as many cameras as possible while using flashbangs to run and hide from the soldiers. After disabling several surveillance cameras, Kaname and Rain head out to one of the hotel rooms to hide and plan their next move. Based on which cameras were destroyed, the florist correctly figures out where they have been hiding. However, Kaname and Rain set a trap for the florist. Rain then disarms and distracts the soldiers, which allows Kaname to reach the first floor and locate the florist in the hotel's control room. Kaname and the florist begin fighting. At first, Kaname starts losing the battle because of the florist and his strong plant defense, but Kaname sees a vision of a man that looks like him using tools to carve weapons. This encourages him to try to use his full power. He manages to create a machine gun that is strong enough to penetrate the plants, which leads to him winning the fight. He then reunites with Rain, who reminds him of the dangerous group called the Eighth and their plan to attack the hotel and steal all the rings. Because everyone in the area is tired, Rain says that they should create a temporary family to fight against the Eighth and protect their rings. They all accept. While making preparations for the Eighth's arrival, Rain notices that the value of the gems on their rings do not match the expected values, which makes her think that there is much more to the event than what the rules state, and that the objective might be something more than gathering 3 rings. Shiyuka decides to send out a distress message to Kaname as she encounters Sui, whose special power allows her to control water. Because they are in the subway, Sui floods it and traps Shiyuka underwater. Kaname and one of the people in their new family called Yuji head out to the subway to help Shiyuka. While back at the hotel, Rain notices that all rings have a QR code that reveals a number when you scan it. Kaname and Ryuji reveal their special powers to each other, and we learn that Ryuji has the ability to tell whether a person is lying or not. The two then encounter Sui at the subway entrance. Kaname goes in to rescue Shiyuka, while Ryuji tries to fight Sui. Before the fight, we learn that Sui is a kid with dual personality. She had a twin brother named Soda, and when he passed away, his spirit transferred to her body. As they're fighting, her second personality, Soda, is able to trick Yuji into a trap using a bottle of water in the refrigerator to attack. Meanwhile, Kaname rescues Shiyuka, and after administering CPR, he realizes that was his first kiss. They start talking, and Shiyuka explains her reason for participating in Darwin's game, which is to get revenge against the player who murdered her parents. They then rush to meet everyone at a nearby convenience store. They get to know Sui better, and they talk about her second personality until night falls. Later on, we hear why Kiro, a member of their family, is participating in the game. He does it because he needs money to support his daughter Suzan, who had a bad heart and needed a new one. As he finishes talking, we jump to the Eighth invading the hotel. Akiro uses the rings the team got as bait, as well as to help the other family members hide their location and ambush the invaders. This works, and they are able to eliminate several members of the Eighth group. Rain then realizes the real treasure of the event is hidden somewhere in a train station called Shibuya Station. Akiro battles someone named Sig, who has the power to manipulate fire. Akiro decides to set a trap in the hotel and runs away. As Sig follows him, he runs into the trap and activates it. Sig is able to escape the trap when another member of the Eights called Keiichi arrives. They are 2 of the strongest members of the Eights, so they are able to injure Akiro really badly. Akiro decides to use his special power on himself to protect him. Sadly, Akiro passes away under the building. Meanwhile, Rain arrives at Shibuya Station and learns that the Eights have also figured out that the true treasure is located at that station. Rain has an advantage because she has a special code that is needed to unlock the final location of the treasure. Rain gets captured by a member of the Eights whose special power allows him to sniff out people like a dog. We now learn the leader of the Eights, called Wang, has the special power to teleport anywhere. Wang threatens Rain to reveal the secret code for the treasure, and Rain responds by telling a long story to buy some time for the rest of her family to arrive. Kaname manages to come and leads Rain to a safe place so that she could figure out the meaning of the code. While Shiyuka, Sui, and Ryuji engage in battle against Wang and his gang. While hiding, Rain figures out that the code 185911 refers to November 1859 when Charles Darwin's book The Origin of Species was published. Meanwhile, Ryuji tries to distance himself from Wang after incorrectly thinking that his attacks are only effective from close range. And Wang uses his special power to attack Ryuji from behind and cut off his left hand. As Wang was about to eliminate Ryuji, Kaname arrives with a proposal for Wang, which was to let him have a key that he claims will unlock the treasure in exchange for Ryuji's life. This was a lie, however, because only Rain knew what the secret key was. Kaname's bluff succeeds, and their lives are spared. Rain then figures out the final pin for the treasures, so they then have to find the correct locker to input the code into. They realize the south exit locker is the only one that takes 6 digits, which is the same number as the pin code. After unlocking the locker, they realize the treasure is a call from the game master to grant them one wish. Kaname wishes to quit the game, but the request is denied, and he is told that he can only quit by clearing the game or eliminating the game master. Kaname then uses his wish to ban people from eliminating each other in the game. 2 months after the event, Chiyuka decides to buy a house for the family to move into. Susan, who is the daughter of Akiro, is visited in the hospital by Hideki, who is from an insurance company and also a player of Darwin's game. He came to give Susan money for her father's death, while Rain, who is recovering from a broken arm, becomes friends with Susan. Rain tells Susan that she knows what happened to her father, but because Susan is not a player, Rain cannot reveal the truth. Kaname had spent the past 2 months training at the Danjo Boxing Club. In the present, Kaname requests to form an alliance with the Danjo Boxing Club, and the owner Danjo wants him to prove his worth with a hand-to-hand fight against him. Kaname will be able to use his special powers, but Danjo will not. Kaname tries his best and even uses his powers, but none of his attacks work on Danjo. Danjo corners Kaname, but Kaname responds by using a flash grenade that makes Danjo use his special power to harden his body. After seeing that Kaname is a capable leader, Danjo decides to form an alliance with Kaname's newly formed family. They decide to call themselves the Sunset Ravens. The duel is then interrupted by Liu, the top player in Darwin's game. As she uses her special power called Eliminating Intent, she kidnaps him. Liu takes him for a ride in a limo driven by her butler Wiming and demands Kaname to become the next leader of her family of assassins, but he refuses. The Sunset Ravens chase the limo in another car and challenge Liu to a family battle. After initially struggling, the Sunset Ravens manage to stop the limo by using Sue's water power to freeze and destroy the tires of the limo. Liu surrenders when the limo driver Wiming points out that she would have likely been eliminated by Chiyuka had the duel continued. With the Sunset Ravens victorious, Liu decides to join the family on the condition that if she decides to eliminate anybody from the family, Kaname will be the one she will eliminate first. Meanwhile, the 8th sends Kaname a video of Shiino held hostage with his fingers cut off, with Wang demanding that he shows up to fight him. After locating the 8th's location in a warehouse, Rain meets up with the leader of another family called the Icy Crown to ask for information about the current of the 8ths. With the information, the Sunset Ravens and Inuke arrive at the warehouse. The police also arrive at the scene, but they are quickly stopped because of their lack of special powers. Chiyuka delivers Shiino's smartphone with the app installed, and he joins Darwin's game as requested by Kaname, gaining the power of telekinesis as his special power. Shiino uses his special power to fight back against the 8ths, but is totally helpless against Wang. Inuke challenges Keiichi to a one-on-one match and reveals that Keiichi was a martial arts master who quit after accidentally eliminating an opponent. Kaname and Ryuji make their way into the warehouse demanding Wang to release Shiino, only to find him chopped up into pieces. With Kaname about to be shot by Shinji of the 8ths, Kaname eliminates him instead after deciding that ending them violently is necessary for this situation. After deciding to end the 8ths, because of their murderous actions, Kaname challenges the 8th to a family battle against the Sunset Ravens, while Kaname and Ryuji permanently end the remaining members of the 8ths. Chiyuka engages in a one-on-one duel with Wang. As Wang uses his special power to manipulate space, Chiyuka activates her wire trap using her special power to sever his limbs. In a desperate attempt to escape, Wang teleports outside the warehouse but ends up in front of Kaname. Wang surrenders the battle and the Sunset Ravens win. Feeling insulted by Wang's final words, Kaname fires at Wang as he disappears. Elsewhere, an assassin Nuburo is contacted by the game master regarding Kaname and the Sunset Ravens. This implies the game master wants to end Kaname. Sometime later, the Sunset Ravens capture Shibuya, leaving enough survivors to spread the message of fear that the game is prohibited in the Sunset Ravens territory. The end. To watch more explanations of these kinds of movies, click on the videos on your screen. And do not forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. Kindly like the video and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. And at last, I will say, stay safe, stay well. Thanks for watching.